Shout out to the Stellar family. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's take a look at what's happening with the price right now. If we're looking across the board, we're finally starting to see some sort of relief, happening, within the crypto space pretty much since the start of August. We are starting off on a little bit of a negative note, but we're starting to see the market slowly but surely turning back into the green. But one thing we need to factor in right now, obviously we're still in a weekend. On the weekends, more manipulation than usual due to the fact that CME futures are closed, something we don't really want to be neglecting. But overall, right now, you are starting to see the market show some sort of relief. But if you're looking at XLM still, we're still seeing about a retracement of about 0.6% in USD time frame, with the price currently sitting at 38 cents, also down about 0.7% in Bitcoin comparative. Valuation $11.8 billion and the 24-hour trading volume at 300 million. So quite a significant change in the 24-hour trading volume for Stellar. 300 million is obviously quite low in that standard. But again, this is something happening pretty much market wide. We need to keep that factor in mind. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So starting off by taking a look at the dominance index, you guys know it's not a crypto ZX update unless we don't discuss the dominance index, and you can clearly see we are in this upwards trajectory. And what's crazy is that the July 24th wick that we went up to the likes of 62.51%. Guess what? We actually have broken out of that. We actually went up to 62.6%. So the dominance is showing significant amount of momentum increase in terms of positivity, which of course is not always a good sign for altcoins, but we shouldn't really be surprised at the same time because Bitcoin has seen a major retracement. If you want to put this into perspective, from July 31st, we did see about a 6% pullback, retesting the neckline of the 112,000 level that we've spoken about on my channel. But since then, since retesting the 112, we have seen about a 2% increase. And again, I did mention this in my H-bar update. In equivalent of BTC, that is quite a bit. So in Bitcoin standard, that is, not a small jump. And it explains why we are seeing market-wide, green right now. But if you're looking at XLM right now, we're still below the key range, but being supported by significant levels dating back to not just the last cycle, but of course the original cycle. 2018 levels really coming in major support for us right now. You can see we retested 36 cents, and 36 cents, we do have some support built up around there, so I'm not surprised that we got supported by that range. But I show you guys the weekly time frame, so we can kind of see the historic patterns for XLM. But with that being said, let's focus on the hourly perspective. So pretty much since breaking below here on July 31st, we have not obviously gone back above that range. But that is very, very important. We want to start pushing back up to this key resistance. Very, very important. But to be quite frank with you, a lot of people will forget that, what happened with BTC. A 7% pullback for Bitcoin means everything is going to be impacted by that, and XLM is no exception. So if you want to put this into perspective, we're only about an 8.35% move for us to get back above this key range. But one thing that you don't want to be ignoring is where the dominance is. Dominance is starting to show a lot of strength. That's the last thing you want to see. You want to see the dominance sitting below 61.8%. Very, very important. Obviously, we're still in a weekend. I need to factor that in. But, XLM price is still not looking as bad as a lot of people think. If you want to look at it from July 1st levels, I continuously remind you guys about this stuff because, it gives us a better perspective. We're looking at an increase of about 67%. Of course, prior to this retracement, we were seeing about 130% increase. So, again, you want to lock those profits in when you see them, have those exit strategies in play. I still do believe that, we're going to see that next leg up starting for altcoins specifically. If you're looking at Ethereum inflows, still, crazy amount of inflows coming in. And I think, late Q3 and of course going into Q4, we're going to hear a lot of excitement for the space. So we're going to be obviously looking out for that. But obviously right now, we got to take it step by step. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But pretty much you want to see this resistance being retested once again. And I am confident that, that will happen once again. Let me know down below what you guys think. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.